Um, so I'll share my experiences, but have you felt those things over the last couple of months?
I have felt pretty much everything. I've gone through every emotion, every adjective you could possibly think of. Um, it's it's been a struggle both keeping my own sanity and trying to still be a good mom when I don't get a break, except for the hour I am physically pressing play on Beachbody On Demand,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to keep, our home business going. And it's like it's overwhelming, because at what point is just making sure your kids are fed and making sure you don't rip your own hair out, at what point is that not like enough? Like,
Right.
there's just days where that needs to be enough. Like, hey, I got
Right.
out of bed. Like, hey, I brushed my hair and I put a bra on. Like,
Right.
congrats to me.
Yeah.
So it it's a roller coaster.
So what do you feel like have been the biggest things to pull you out of those moments and kind of regroup or help you get more grounded?
Uh Honestly, this is gonna sound really cheesy, but gratitude. That the book that we were reading in April, The Universe
Mhm.
Has Your Back, like that just really like struck a chord with me. And I just finished her 21-day meditation challenge, which has really helped.
I
Because
wanted to do that.
there's a couple walking ones. So I just walk around the neighborhood and just get filled by the words that she was saying and just feel everything around me. And I have to realize that this this feeling that I have is only temporary, and I can choose to be thankful for the ability to have these range of emotions, and just focus more on what I do have rather than what I'm struggling with,
Right.
and try and find a solution. Don't complain about my issues until I have a solution.
Hmm.
Is kind of my whole thing that I'm trying to do.
Well, I had forgotten about the whole gratitude piece in my list of coping mechanisms that I was going to talk through tonight. So I'm glad you brought that up because that
I didn't go to alcohol,
filled in a
which,
hole.
like, glass of wine really sounded good a lot of those nights, but
Hmm. But you didn't.
no, because I'd be a really, really bad lightweight right now.
Oh man, I still have so much growing to do in this area, but I've had a handful of coaches reach out to me and just tell me that they were feeling those words that I described. And so I've had just one-on-one conversations with them. And I know that a few of them wanted to watch this recording. So I'm just going to kind of run through them. And I would love your feedback if it sparks anything with you and any insight that you can give, because I do feel like you have a lot on your plate and have experience with being overwhelmed and having to do a lot of things, and yet you're still showing up with this huge massive smile on your face and a good attitude. And so I think there's lots to learn from
I
you
talked
too, but
about that in the lifers group today, as far as my hurdle. So yeah, I feel you.
you've got experience there. So I did I do want to start with just some tough love for the people that are going to be watching this, not necessarily you, Jenny, but
Oh
um
no, tough love away. I
I
gotta eat it.
anytime I get in one of those slumps, because I am not immune to this, you need to think about, okay, what am I doing that is allowing these feelings to continue? What am I doing to almost fan the flame of being overwhelmed, feeling lost, feeling paralyzed? Um, because you have to recognize that we are responsible for these feelings and we are the only person who can stop it. So, are you being on social media too much? Are you consuming other people's negativity? Do you keep the news on for like 6 hours of the day and just watch? all of
Right.
the negative, bad things that are happening? Are you avoiding your personal development? Are you just not feeding the positivity in? Are you not resting? Are you not getting in nature? Are you just sitting alone in your house, even though it's beautiful outside? Are you doing that? Um, are you just simply just absorbing too much information? Because right now, there's no shortage of things that you can consume with the protests, with COVID. Like there's a lot of heavy things going on right now. And I think that's why a lot of the girls on my team have reached out to me and just said, I can't even post because of the times that we're living through. And they're leaning into that, overwhelmed, and just kind of sitting there in it and not giving themselves a lifeline out. So I really think it's important to think about, okay, what am I doing to basically not help myself in this situation? Because whatever that is, it needs to stop. So what are things that we can do differently? I love that you brought up the gratitude piece because I just added it to my list, because I absolutely think that is the antidote to anxiety, to basically every negative feeling, is to focus on tangible things that you're actually super duper grateful for. Um, Another one, which I just did today for the very first time, and it sounds like you did yesterday, is to get face to face with humans. I just had dinner with a couple of girls on our team tonight, and honestly, it felt weird because I have not been that close to other humans in 3 months. But that, I mean, you know from being at our retreat, like that face to face, there's nothing else like it. There's literally nothing else. Summit breaks my heart that it's not happening, but like you have to get together with your friends. You just do, especially after being alone for this long. You just do. You have to. So that's one thing that you can do. So gratitude is one. Get face to face with other people. You have to be reading or listening to positivity. So you have to be plugging into your personal development. And if you need help with suggestions on books or podcasts, please reach out to me or another coach to give you suggestions. Number 4 is to unplug and put your phone down and go for a walk, get in nature, like literally stop the media consumption. We're not, I really don't think we're designed to do that for 24 hours a day. Like we didn't come out of the womb holding smartphones. We should be in nature. We should be like having those just silent moments and meditating like you were talking about. And if you've never meditated, have a guiding like sequence through that. You could look it up on YouTube. You could purchase meditation things. There are apps that will help you meditate. Figure out how to calm your mind so that you can have a fighting chance. Um, and then I really just wanted to just spend a couple of minutes talking about other people judging us during this time. And this has really come up a lot recently because of the racism piece that we have all been learning, growing, stretching, getting uncomfortable, and leaning into. I hope that we've been leaning into it because it's truly a compassion thing where if we are white, we really can't say, I know what it's like to be in your shoes to a person of color because we are not a person of color. So I truly hope that we are open to learning and listening and just figuring out how do we come together? How do we help all of us collectively live better lives so that we can be getting along? That doesn't mean we have to always agree on things, but we need to come together. So right now there is, in my opinion, a big push to pretty much only be talking about Black Lives Matter, racism. Like, if you aren't talking about it, you're a bad person. That's the feeling that I get. That's the feeling that a lot of girls on our team are feeling, where they don't feel like they're allowed to talk about anything else. They feel like it's insensitive, or they've been told that you have to use your platform for this. And while I do think it's extremely important, I don't think all of us are on this planet to be activists. I don't I don't think we're all here to do the exact same job. We all have to do different pieces of that job. And if you have people that are telling you and trying to shush you or telling you like you can't post that right now because of the times we're living in, you can't talk about joining your group because people are on unemployment because of COVID-19, you can't blah, like fill in the blank. I've had a lot of people, not a lot, 4. I'll be truthful and not exaggerate here. 4 people say, you know, I just don't know how I can post because my best friend messaged me, or someone I went to school with messaged me, or someone in my family messaged me and said, I can't believe you're posting about your workouts right now with the space that we're living in. And you shouldn't be doing that. And just go just on and on about dictating what they're doing with their social media, and telling them like you can't do this. And I just want to speak to that specifically because there are always going to be things going on in this world, and there's always going to be people having opinions about what you post on your page. And bottom line is they don't get to tell you what you can post about. Like, it's not their life. And I just want to give a really quick story about when I first started coaching 5 years ago. It was about 2 years in, my closest friend sent me a very long message telling me that she didn't know who I was anymore. I had changed too much. I was in a cult, that Beachbody was a cult, that she doesn't know how to be my friend, that like all of these very hurtful things. But this is how she felt. And she's like, I don't think you should be posting online all the time. People are talking about you behind your back, and they aren't good things. And she's like, I just want the old Andrea back. And I sat on it for a day, and then I had to write her back and just say, you know, I'm sorry that you feel like you don't know how to be my friend anymore. And if that's the case, I don't know how to be your friend either. But the whole point in me doing this was to change. So you are going to see me change and evolve. Even from today into next month, I am going to become a different person because that's what I want to do. So, point being, as you grow and change, and as you decide to build a business or talk about coaching or whatever, there are going to be people who share their unsolicited opinion about posting or not posting. And right now, the biggest, loudest thing that people are sharing with other people unsolicited is you can't talk about happiness and good things when you're white because all of these Black people are suffering, and you can only talk about Black Lives Matters right now. If you want to talk about Black Lives Matters, talk about it. I talked about it. I posted about it on my social media. I'm going to continue to learn and listen and grow and have those tough conversations in person with people and in my own home. But to have somebody come out and say, like, you can't talk about anything else right now, and basically you have to stop building your business, I just think is kind of crazy. And so my tip for that, if possible, this is what I had to do because I had some people who were trying to put a bowl over my light that I was trying to shine in the world, that you can be a better person and step up and punch mediocrity in the face. And there were some people who didn't like that. They wanted me to go back to being quiet Andrea. You have to block them on social media. Now, if this is a family member, it may not be so easy, but I even did block a few family members on Instagram so that I could just be myself. I have since unblocked them and they can choose if they want to follow. But in those beginning days, I just had to be like, no, can't be in my circle because I feel called to do this. And I don't want anyone telling me to live small and keep people comfortable. So that was a very long tangent. But my overarching thought is give yourself a fighting chance if you're feeling overwhelmed or lost or scared or burnt out. Like, unplug, listen to PD, get face to face with somebody, write down your gratitude list in your journal, and make sure that you're not just constantly consuming media. Like, give yourself some breathing space. Um, so yeah. Jenny, do you have any tips
Um,
or thoughts?
Honestly, one thing I found, I actually learned about it in one of our lifers groups a couple months ago, is a habit journal where I
Oh,
have things and then I write a tick mark next to it and then I count out my points at the end of the day. And if none of my habits are social media or anything related. It's reading, meditating, personal development. Did I exercise? Did I wake up before a certain time? Did I go to bed before a certain time? Just healthy habits. And so
mhm.
my goal is, out of like 8 things, is to hit at least 5 of those a day.
I love
So
it.
that's
So
just
you're,
kind of how I keep myself on track.
yeah, like tracking those good habits that are non-negotiables for you.
Right, because then it also forces me to, even if I'm in a slump, to be like, okay, well, I'm really holding myself accountable. So maybe I should do the dishes real quick before I sit down. Or, maybe instead of watching, like right now, my big thing is Marie Kondo. I'm finally watching all of that, but I'm like, oh, maybe I should read a little. Like,
Yep.
I don't know, just like little things.
Yeah, no, I love it. And it goes right along with, I'm re-listening to Marie Forleo's book, Everything is Figure Outable. And the chapter
Heard
that
that
I'm in
one.
right now is talking about how you have to you have to create before you consume, and create meaning like create the life that you want. So each morning that has to be sacred. Like, you can't get up and instantly check your messages and your social media. You have to meditate, you have to work out, you have to fill your own cup to give yourself a fighting chance for all of these things that are going to slam you in the face as soon as you open up your phone, you know? So I I totally love that. And just having a checklist. You wake up, you're like, okay, these I have to do today because I matter and because I don't want to feel overwhelmed and confused and lost and scared and burnt out. Um, you have to take that personal responsibility because no one else is going to do that for you. No one else is going to come alongside you when you're 37 years old and be like, oh, let's just solve all your problems for you. Like, we have to do it. We have to put on our big girl pants and we have to take control of what we can control, which is us and only us. We can't control anything else out there as much as we would like to. We can't.
You control
And
your own narrative. You can't control what other people do, but you can control what you put forth. So,
yes. And the lens that you take it in. I need this advice myself. I say this out loud so that I can also absorb it because I am totally guilty of receiving information and totally taking it wrong because I came at the situation or at the day without doing these things and taking care of myself. And so I come just exhausted and then I receive something incorrectly and take offense to something that really had nothing to do with me. So I need this advice too. But
yeah.
any other things to chat about before we sign off? I've got some messages to send. Thanks for hanging out with me, Jenny.
And it's so nice to actually see you. I haven't seen you since like Summit.
I
So
know. It's been a long
like
time.
all you guys live in Minnesota and I'm over here in Wisconsin, like, oh, hey guys.
Hi.
You're like
Well,
6 hours away.
they are doing like this virtual summit thing, so maybe we'll have to figure out a way to have our whole team like in a Zoom or in a thread or I don't know, something so that we
I'm
can
about
have
to
some sort
hop
of
in my
community.
car and like maybe not go through Minneapolis, but like if I can
No,
find like somewhere close and just like, okay, I'm in Minnesota. Who wants to hang out?
right? We could get like an Airbnb and just watch all the videos together.
Like I need people.
I know. I know. I'm glad you got to hang out with your friend at Target.
Yeah. Target, like Target tells you what you need. Like you don't go into Target looking for something. It tells you what you need.
Exactly. Exactly. All right.
It
Well, have a
talks
good
to us.
night. And we'll have another team call next Sunday. So
Awesome.
we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.